Hey guys, so a lot of you guys know that a lot of new heroes have come out, and I thought it would be really interesting to rank them in terms of how strong they are. And as you can see, we have a very special guest, which has been kind of a long time coming. We've recorded like 3 videos together that have all been scrapped because I've been lazy, and that's Mortar Mike. So thanks for coming on, man.
Am I appreciated? I don't know, but it's go time and it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's been a little cursed. All of our recordings, they all go like over an hour long, and I just don't have
Yes,
time to edit it, and then they like
that's
die
mostly
off.
my That's mostly my fault. That's mostly my fault. I'm a
Nah, it's both
talker.
of our faults. We can't stop yapping. That's just how it is. Yeah.
This is
So
going to be a good one though. Like we thought six, but the number kept growing. We start realizing how much stuff is really coming.
yeah. So originally we were like, oh, there's six because Lucius, Myca, Jeera, Ymiret, what's their name? Anora. They're all kind of like newer heroes. Also in
Mm-hmm.
it, I guess, technically. And then we were like, wait, there's more coming, so we gotta add those too. So now we're at
And these are
nine.
just the
So
Legos. Like this is just the Legos on the way. Like we haven't even heard word of epics that might be coming too. Like this is just the prime
yeah.
timers.
And we're gonna be going over kind of just ranking them. So it's good I have you here because I don't have a test server. So everything
Mm-hmm.
I've seen is from what I've seen online, what I've read from kits, what I've just kind of like from experience
Mm-hmm.
is from what I know. So you're gonna have to help a little bit with stuff with some of these things.
I'm good. I'm good. There are only two of these out of these nine. I've tested seven of them, so there's only two that I have
Mhm.
not done a lot with yet. Enough to brag about. Enough to brag about. I'll say that. Not enough yet.
And one of those, which is the first, I guess we'll get it started, is Lucius, which I actually know the
Yes.
most about out of the new ones, which is
That's
great.
good because I know the least about them.
And now Lucius, I guess I should probably just explain a bit more. Let me go over the kit quickly.
Mhm.
Lucius essentially is two characters in one, as I told you earlier off camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a marksman. He's a watchguard. He's easily the best watchguard DPS, just straight up.
They need them. They need new champs. They need awesome champs. They need
Yeah,
more.
like the best DPS they have is like Idril. Like, come on.
I think every Watcher champ that they put out for the next 6 months should be an apology for Iron.
Yeah, it's the worst faction in the game, hot take,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it is for a reason. But
And the
Lucius,
lore buff is very limited as far as like planning
hmm
around it. It's just a boost, and it's like, okay, but
yeah,
when does it happen? How often does it happen? It takes too much to put around it, and by
and
that time,
also
you just
Laya's
use
used
other
more as a
champs.
unit usually, unless as a lord, and Ein is
Yes,
garbage. He's like the worst epic
yeah,
lord, so
he legit is.
it's just rough, and they only have one lord, so it's brutal.
Oof.
But just to kind of summarize it for you, I'm sure you know a little bit of like about the kit. I'm not 100%
Mhm.
sure, but
No, bro, get it, bro. It's like I know it, but every time I read it, I learn more about it. So yeah,
oh yeah,
do it.
it's crazy complex. Almost every character here is insanely complex. But
That's true.
essentially, what you need to know is there's two forms, and the way you get to those forms is very different. So one of the forms is essentially there's a 25% chance per basic attack against elites and bosses. It becomes 45%, I think, at max skill. It
Oh,
doesn't show the max skills here, but
yeah.
uh, Ivy was telling me
I
about
can
it
pull
because
them
we
for
did
you
a
if you want me to. Just let me
class.
know.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need that for the later ones, that's for sure. But
Okay.
essentially, when you get a certain amount of pursuits, which is RNG, but still like not a terrible chance.
Mm.
When you get a certain amount of damnation, which you get for getting 2 pursuits, you get 1 stack. So when you reach five, so essentially 10 pursuits, it's complicated. He turns into like
Yeah.
a demon essentially and does a bunch of damage, attacks faster, and each basic
Ooh.
attack is guaranteed to trigger a pursuit. And
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Okay.
but when that happens, it completely gets rid of your rage or his rage,
Yeah.
and you can't use his ult. And that's because his ultimate is actually the complete opposite of that, in where he cleanses all of his damnation stacks, and instead has a different kind of form of an attack, which is a lot slower, and
Mhm.
also has a chance to dispel buffs. The buff dispel is 4% though.
Yeah, I did see that, and I was like, that is But I understand because it's multiple attacks that he's doing, but I don't want RNG that bad.
Yeah,
But I
it's
do know that there's content that's coming where the bosses will have buffs that can be taken away.
yeah,
So
and I
interesting.
think it'll work on the Semra shield. If it does, he'll be completely meta in every team.
Ooh, talking
Because
about the Aegis shield? Yeah. Oh
because
snap!
if that
Good point.
happens, I can't guarantee if it does because once again I can't test it.
Hmm.
If that happens, he'll be broken for that. Like he'll be
Yeah.
definitive, in all those teams.
Even better if he takes away the overdrive mode. Now we're just cooking.
Hmm. That would be, yeah, that would be crazy. And then he has like different bonuses. He ignores defense when he's in his demon mode, and in his ultimate, he does more single target damage. And essentially, just his kit has two different effects depending on what it is. So
Hmm.
he's
He really
he's two
is two
units in
champions in
one.
once. Yeah, he really is. Interesting. What would you rate this man? I want to know now. Now I'm interested.
If we go off of him being that good for Guild Boss 2, I want to put him A. The thing is, a
I can
lot of these
respect that.
heroes are broken as hell, as you
Sheesh.
know.
Yes. Wait until we get to McNugget.
McNugget, the next one is gonna be crazy. I
Oh, you know
want to
what's
put
funny?
Lucius
The
A,
next
but I
one
think
is.
he's B.
I could see that. I think it does take more testing to get a real legit answer on him, and
Hmm.
also the RNG of his kit does make it a little harder to build around.
Yeah,
Because you don't know if he's going to go straight to the when you need some other damage or you need a different ability,
yeah,
or if he's
because
going to
you have
pop
to
it when
like
you need it.
regulate it, and you have to
Yeah,
like manage it really specifically, so it could be very hard to use there. I know War Guys said he was amazing, but I'm
yeah.
not 100%
My
sure.
challenge is not wanting to use demonic embrace and then he just uses it and gets rid of your rage.
Yeah,
Or I want to save it for a different time and he just goes ahead and busts it out and uses it.
yeah, that too. So he could be very hit or miss, but he definitely has a lot of uses, I feel like.
Yeah, he's an auto/manual ult champ.
He also looks sick. He's like the one
He
I'm the most
does.
excited for because Watcher needs more, and also he looks sick, and his kid is sick.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. 100%. Woo.
so I'll let you take the main the main part on this one because this one is
Okay. Okay.
amazing.
We gotta brag about her. I'm gonna tell y'all, Myca, she is going to be one of the champions to watch, mainly because she does an ungodly amount of magic damage, and it's nuts. I got
Mm-hmm.
the full kitted version, so I'm gonna read them too. Her
All
regular
right.
attacks 120% to one enemy, nothing special there.
Mm-hmm.
Her ultimate, we got to tag. Oh, I got to say the talent first. I got to mention that just so they know it. Triggers
Talent's so
Blazing Plume.
complicated.
Yeah, her Blazing Plume every four attacks she triggers Blazing Plume, which deals 50% magic damage 3 times and then inflicts burning for 5 seconds.
Which is
Um,
that's a
which
lot.
is crazy. It's a lot, and it's crazy. It just gets started. It gets even nuts. Do you have the awakenings on here too? Because I do. That's gonna be
Oh, you can read them. I don't have them up right
okay.
now, but I do have them
Okay,
somewhere else.
cool, cool, cool. When a blazing plume hits an enemy afflicted with burning, which is the whole time, there's a 50% chance to trigger conflagration. That's what I'm thinking. Conflagration deals
I call it
300%.
conflagration. Yeah, I think that's right.
That works for me. So, conflagration, it deals 300% magic damage, and each burning stat that you have on the enemy increase the damage by 10% up to 370% damage. Every
Yeah,
time that
so it
blazing
should be
plume hits the
300.
target burning, there's a half chance of doing that.
Interesting. So the numbers here are a little wrong from what I'm showing, it seems.
Yeah, they changed a good bit of it in the past like three
Uh-huh.
days.
Interesting. So this is actually like 300%, and this is what, 300 and something?
Yeah, 300 to 370, depending on how much burning they have.
Oh,
Each
damn.
burning has a 10% stack, and she's giving burnings like every four attacks she's doing them, and then with her ultimate, she changes that four attacks to every two attacks.
Oh, wow.
And she ignores 50%. That was it. She ignores 50% of the enemy's defense. Awesome.
Which is crazy, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that that's a typo because she does magic damage. Why is she ignoring defense? She should be ignoring magic resistance, right?
Okay. Yeah, you're right, you're right. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just both types. Like maybe it's just like
it could
defense
be.
in general.
It genuinely could
Maybe it's
be.
just easier to program it that way. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly. And then it reduces that 4 times attack for Blazing Plume down to 2 times. So every 2 attacks she's doing that attack, it lasts for half a minute.
Half a minute is crazy. That's like A3 Zilla 2 level, like
Exactly.
which is crazy. That's so good.
Here's the crazy part is like you seen the kid like it gets nuttier. Like every time she does Blazing Plume, which is every 4 attacks regular, every two attacks during the ult, it increases her crit damage by 12%, stacking up to 5 times. So that's 60% extra crit damage added. This is fully booked. During the ult, the crit damage increase is doubled. So that's 120%, right? 120%? Yeah.
Isn't it 160 or is your numbers just different?
It's 8% stacking up to 5 times. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 12% stacking up to 5 times. That's going to be 60, and then when it doubles, it's going to be 120. Now the stacks do remove after the ult ends, but you got the burst damage you came for because the last part about the kit before Awakenings, she does 50% increased damage to enemies with shields. AKA
50%. Wow.
50%, bro. 50, bro.
So
it's got crazy.
To put into perspective, the way she works is she's essentially Silas, Setrum, and like Hex put into one character.
Into one champion. And it was like, what are the best parts we can do? Okay, give me the damage of Hex without giving me the card play. Give me the shield breaking of Setrum without giving me, having to have the slow wind up. And give me the damage, like the ignore defense of Silas. And you got him in a champ that you can fuse.
And yeah, it's a permanent fusion from what I can see as well.
Oh, that's nuts.
So it'll be forever. Like, I don't know if it'll be alongside Abomination, if it'll be like once you're done Abomination.
That's a good point.
It could be. I don't think it'll replace Abomination. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense.
So I think it's probably just another legendary fusion permanently.
Yeah, get her as soon as you can. And I'm just going to do 3 Awakenings because the other ones are like increase penetration by 5% and attack by 300. This is how you know she's for Guild Boss. When attacking enemies with shield, increases attack speed by 150 for 5 seconds. That's A1. A3 is a little meh. Conflagration guarantees a crit hit. You're probably going to already have her at 100% crit
Yeah,
rate,
it's essentially a nothing thing.
But her A5 is gonna be like she's gonna be one of those champions people are gonna think about with Soul Stones. During the ultimate, the trigger chance of conflagration increases to 100%. So it always, every 2 hits, she's doing conflagration, which is 300% magic damage up to 370%.
Which is absurd. that shouldn't be allowed.
That is basically another ultimate that she's just doing casually.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. You got S is where she belongs. She belongs in the stratosphere. She's flying up there.
Yeah, she's just soaring up, leaving everyone in the dust.
Yeah.
And imagine I know a lot of the viewers probably have like Abomination with like 4 Awakenings or something and they hate it. She's going to be one that you want to awaken.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. If you ever get an A5 version of her, like I've tested it in Guild Boss, she is her and Silas can break all 3 shields by themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's just like I think I got 24K. I had those 2, and I don't think I had Dolores. I think I had like 1 Lord with them. And Socadence. I had Socadence.
And your gear on test server is not like elite level yet, I don't think, right?
Not yet. There's a couple that are well built, but not it's not enough to spread around yet. Still, right now she's this is built out at 83K. Like you can still A5 her and get all kind of other stuff on top of that, get another 15,000 on top of that and be fine. But 83. Pretty decent, but not the best it could be.
Yeah, so she won't be there for guild affiliation, but for like guild boss killing, just magic damage. She's gonna be like game changing for grade 4 for a lot of people. If you don't have Hex, she's gonna replace him essentially, and she's free.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So undeniably S in my eyes. I think any magic damage area in the game where you need single target, she's gonna be like Hex level. Or close to
I just wish conflagration was AoE. That's all I ask. I would be fine. Even if it's so seldomly used.
But she would be too good.
Oh my gosh. You have to make a crimson red triple S.
But yeah, that can't happen.
I know,
Um,
right?
so next up we got Init, and Init is
Mm,
one of my favorites. Honestly, I
yes,
love Init. He's so cool.
yes.
Like,
In it is it. That's the best
yeah,
way to put it. In it is it. He
he's
builds pretty well
him.
with BP too. He's him. And
He's
it's
also
funny.
British.
I put like a Demon Crusade dog on the screen because I didn't have a PNG for him today in the live stream. I was like, this is Ain't It, his cousin. But Ain't It is crazy because like so you have a couple of screenshots. One of the biggest things that's crazy about Ain't It is his range of his abilities. It took a while to understand how he works. So right here, if you look at this, this is normally when you tap the ult, you can see what the ult's range is. That's not how this
Yep.
works. This is
Well,
the range that he puts down the turrets, the ancient cores on any allies within that range. And
yeah,
the ancient cores adapt the range of the champions that they're on top of. So
yeah.
you could put it on top of a vortex with a giant range, and the core will attack everything in vortex's range for
hmm
regular attacks.
Yeah, and he'll put it on tanks. He'll put it on support. So you could use it
Yeah,
on Dolores, and Dolores is weird
yeah,
range. If they're behind Dolores, it'll still hit because it's in their range.
yeah,
Like Lust has weird range. It'll still work any tile in their range.
yeah. So it's awesome for groups. It's wonderful for groups because it allows you to attack every area that you have your allies already aimed at. So you just drop them in the middle and it works. And then his ultimate, it prioritizes what he's looking at. So I initially thought when the Init first came out, I thought that he had to be aimed at allies in order to give them the buff, which would have been kind of lackluster. I would have been like, yeah, that's pretty trash. But it's just when he does his ultimate, whatever enemies he's aiming at, it can be Cyrus in the top part of where that portal is, for example, aiming upwards, and some other one aiming to the left on the bottom left or whatever. All of the ancient cores will turn around and aim at whatever he's shooting at and do damage from every last one of them at once. It's actually
hmm
pretty good, and it melts too. It's not like Silas level, but it melts for just being the extra option you can use, other than just planting them and letting them do um, all the extra damage. Oh yeah, and he adds also 30% damage increase, and heals and true damage. He's good. He's not the god tier damage dealer. I'm gonna say that. I gotta be clear about that. But he is very versatile. If you want a free champion, this is the kind of free champion you want. A
Oh
champ
yeah.
that can go in so
For
many kits.
for being a free champion, that's crazy. Like three of these
Yeah,
heroes, and they're all very good, are free, completely free, and
yeah,
two of them are guaranteed. Like that's absurd. Like, are you
yeah.
kidding me? Like, wow. And
It's fun.
yeah, Init does a lot. Like you said, he
Yeah.
heals, he buffs, he puts cores on everyone to do more damage. He's obviously not the best damage dealer in the game, but he's an arbiter, he's an esotericist, he has some really
Mhm.
good mechanics. He's going to always have 4 to 6 cores out because for about
Yes.
4 seconds, every 20 seconds, he's gonna have 6 out, but on average, it's gonna be 4 all the time.
Hmm.
So you're going to be having a lot of cores out at all time. When you ult, he like detonates them or something somehow,
Yeah. So
and
they
they do a
all
ton of
attack the same
damage.
target he has, and then afterwards they basically zoom in and do damage. I forgot about that damage. Yeah, they zoom in and do like 150
hmm
percent damage when they
And they
explode.
also do true damage sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. It's kit. His kit is great because it's a well thought out kit. It's basically a support kit for everybody around him that allows them to get heals. They do increased damage and they get an easier way to manage their areas.
Yeah,
It's
which is
nuts.
amazing.
Yeah,
Like
it's great. It's
his
great.
kit just works really well. He essentially just adds damage to everyone around him while
Mhm.
doing his own damage. He's really really solid. I don't fully know where to put him though. You're gonna have to help me
So
with this
so
one, but
this is good. This is a good thing you say this because okay, so I came from RSL, so we played that game before. One of the biggest issues that came with that game is by the time you got the end game earnings and like Doom Tower and stuff, you didn't have any use for the champions anymore. This one you
Mhm.
have a use for this champion. This champion is still useful in end game. I'm gonna put him at an A or A plus only
I agree.
because enough people are going to be arguing that he doesn't do the damage they hope he does. but he's a
Yeah.
mage that works against killing crowds because little enemies don't need a lot of damage to kill him. So he does a great job, but they still want the clapper. He's not the clapper. He is definitively a support champion that's titled as a mage.
If you want a clapper that's free, go with Myca.
Yeah,
But if you want a really
she's on the way.
like complicated yet very unique and diverse
Yeah.
champion, go with Init. He's a great like support. He's a great DPS. He doesn't do them both especially well, but he does them both well enough where he's really good, basically.
Yeah, and once you understand how his kit works, it's easy. It's not as complicated as it seems. Basically, put him in the middle of your group. He supports everyone. When you want to kill something nearby him, trigger his ult. You just saw 80% of what he does. It's great.
He's great. He's gonna be underrated,
Yeah.
I think.
I think so. I agree. Underrated
Right.
because people just want DPS. Oh, speaking of DPS, sweet lord, sweet lord, yo, this chick Jeera
Jeera.
is Jeera is going to be the next biggest problem in single target arena, and I mean that with my whole heart. I put her in AMR 18. She can solo AMR 18. It's a little tough because you got to have a strong healer with her, but you can put her as a fighter in front of the boss in AMR 18 with the allies, the enemies and stuff that come in. She's a single target hitter, and she can survive and do enough damage to kill the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Her numbers are stupid. I seen her casually get 900,000 damage. Like her numbers. Oh my gosh. Should I discuss this one? Should I talk about Jeera?
Yeah, you're gonna have to take
Okay.
the full thing because all I
Okay.
know is highest base HP in the game. One of the highest attacks in
Lord.
the game. Her only
Yes.
downside I can tell is her range is abysmal.
Yes, it is. Yes, but it has to be. She's like a Monster Hunter built type champion. She's definitely a bruiser. She's definitely a bruiser champion. I would love if she had 2 tiles, but I'm gonna be honest. If she had 2 tiles, it'd be broken.
True, though that does
It's-
kind of limit her viability, especially
Yeah.
recently. Although she is very strong, as you said.
Yeah. I
Like-
like the fact because as a fighter, this is good because normally we just put defenders in front. Defenders have to hold the line. But what if you put somebody there that can get easy kills and stay in the fight? So this is good to have an alternative option. Her HP is crazy. Her damage is crazy. Just right now, I have on the test server A0. She's at 104,000 BP. A0.
Oh wow! So she's gonna be like, that's like the second
Glorious.
best base BP normal
Yeah.
champ. That's
If
better
I
than
A5
Session.
her, it's gonna go up. Exactly. If I A5 her, it's gonna go up. She's in pretty decent gear. I'm trying her in 3 different gear sets.
Holy.
Right now, that's a Mortal Roar. Infernal Roar. I always say Mortal Roar. That's Infernal Roar.
It's not even
There's
Aegis
bunch-
Wrath, and she's at 105.
Yeah, she's not in Aegis Wrath either. So
Is that just
you have to
attack?
trust. That's a 4th one. That's just attack. So right
The
now,
frick?
I have her at like 50k HP, so that could be higher. I have her at like 24,000 attack and only like 31% extra crit damage, and she's doing 900,000 on hits. It is stupid. It's not. Now to be fair, that's not every attack, but that number is insane. All she has to do is survive to do a hit like that. It's gonna kill almost anything that comes in front. It's nuts. But yeah, I'm going to do Infernal Roar. I'm going to also do Soulbound Arcana, but she needs to have more allies on the field when she does that because she got ult going a couple times. And then I'm also going to build a special case for Glacier Set because her damage doesn't scale off HP, but a percentage of her damage comes from HP and is really useful for her kit. But yeah, she's nuts. She's nuts. We didn't even talk about her actual kit, did we? We just like when I tell y'all she's the champion. She's the one champion on a banner that's the B option, like the Praetus and Jeera option that may be coming. She's the one option. I'm perfectly fine whichever one I get. I want this champion more than Praetus. Not to say she's better than Praetus. It's a different story. No. But I want
she's
her
more
more
fun.
than Praetus. Yeah, exactly. She's more fun, and I can't wait to use her in single target arena because she's giving Valeria a run for her money. And plus, she doesn't die after her ult. So it's interesting. It's
Yeah, that
good.
is
It's
really
good.
interesting. Sorry, I'm like free.
Okay.
I'm messaging someone who cares a lot about Guilty Guild as this is recording because that VP is insane. Like
Yeah, it's
that's
nuts.
that's absurd. You know. Like,
It's straight crazy. Like literally A0, she's at 104K, and it's not the right set for it because of the stats she has. So it's like they had to put one tile. Because if you put two tiles, then she might have to be AoE, and now we're talking about
mm-hmm.
she would be on a conversation with Silas every day of the week. Let me actually say the skills. So first attack, nothing special, 120% damage to one enemy. If we're talking about her passive, it's almost like she has to have a debuff in her kit to be better. Increases her
Mm-hmm.
max HP by 30%. The higher the current HP, the higher the hero's vulnerability, up to 30%. So when they say vulnerability, she has her own debuff that she inflicts that makes basically she's a single target attacker. This is why she needs to have one tile. Anybody that she's attacking does more damage to her because she gets a bigger bonus out of that. But also she does anybody that doesn't have this debuff that she gives out does less damage to her. So that's why she's so awesome in the coat in AMR because she's just hitting the boss. All the other minions that try to come through and get a swipe or two in, they do little to no damage to her because it's automatically I think it's like 30%. Yeah, 30% damage. It's nice. It's nice.
That sounds
So
nice.
yeah, talking about the ult, 800 cost, lasts for 20 seconds. After the second time she does it, she keeps it. So
So kind of like
activate.
Abomination. She's like a souped up
Yes, very much
Abomination.
like Abomination. If Abomination just wanted to get rid of things, this is Abomination.
So it's basically
Oh,
Abomination, high single target damage, high HP, basically
yeah,
HP regaining abilities, and she has top 2 BP in the game.
yeah, easy. Not even I need a debate. Definitely, she's right behind Ymiret. If I actually put her in a
Mm-hmm.
different gear set just for BP, she'd be there. She gets 75% back of her HP. She gets 75 of her HP back when her ult triggers. It's a manual ult, which is great. During the skill, she
Ooh, that's
increases
good.
her HP by 60%. Her damage dealt by 175%,
It
and the
reduces
attack
attack
interval
speed.
goes up. Yeah, the attack speed goes up by 30%. So it means she does 30% slower. And it
Uh-huh.
lasts for 20 seconds. So the second time she does it, she keeps these buffs. So that giant HP pool, which goes into the next thing she does, is it this one? It's the last one. So I'll go back to that one. So divine reprisal. Every three basic attacks, the fourth one would do 200% damage. Let's not forget she's also in the ult form when she's doing that. So add an extra 175% on top of that, along with defense penetrating damage equal to 100% of the damage she just took. So that's why she's tanky because she's a big counterattacker. The accumulated damage taken will be reset once it takes effect. That's just while she's doing the attack. So, she does a fourth attack again. She does all the damage she took plus the damage she does back to him.
Yo, which is
Plus,
crazy.
so yeah, so it can't exceed more than 150% of her HP, but that's dope. That's like I was getting 900K easily. Now, retribution. This is the one part that people are going to be a little confused about because you do have to build it with some tankiness, or she's
Mm-hmm.
just going to die. Because she has to be near a healer too. Like she's not just a brute; she has to have some kind of heals going. But she inflicts retribution on enemies. So if you attack a target with retribution, you deal additional damage equal to 4% of her max HP. Now, people are like, 4% doesn't sound like a lot. Her base HP is 31,000. If you wanted to go HP, you can give her 100,000 HP easily. And 4% of that is another 4K attack. So just putting that out there, you can also put her in Glacier set and go full HP on her, which I'm trying to build out too, and just get a whole bunch of this because this is on the single target that she's fighting. And all damage received from enemies not inflicted by retribution is reduced by 30%. So if she's not hitting it, they're not doing high damage to her. That counts as smaller minions. That counts as aerial units flying over, so she takes less damage if they're attacking her. That counts as like the tentacles on Void Rift. If they're hitting her and she can't hit them back, less damage she takes also, so she keeps that tankiness. And when she switches targets, it changes to that target and it goes away from the target she was first hitting. So nuts. Oh, and just to add icing on the cake, she increases damage in arena by 15%. And I hadn't even looked at her awakens yet because I'm fearful I'm looking at the Awakenings.
They're very good. I'll just
Oh, they are.
I'll just say that. I don't remember what they are, but they're good.
She does radiant erosion off of max HP and inflicts stuns, dealing damage to enemies assume. Oh my gosh. A3, once the HP drops by 25%. She gains a shield equal to 100% of her HP for 15 seconds. It can be triggered once during deployment. That's fair. A5. When an enemy hits retribution or they get it for more than 5 seconds, increases damage dealt to this enemy by 15%. So she starts drilling on them. I mean,
Yeah, but that's not just her. That's
crazy. Oh my gosh.
Everyone does more damage.
Gosh. Yeah. She's good.
So
and then
where I think she suffers from the same thing I think Valderon suffers a bit from, which is she doesn't have that much utility everywhere. But it sounds like where you would need a one-tile fighter, she's probably very good.
Yeah. I think she's going to be an argument between, because she's amazing in single target arena. I would have to put her in whatever conversations I put Valeria in.
Only
because
issue there is the cost. But if you can deal with the cost, she'll be very good there. Especially because North teams are very prevalent.
You're right. I'm going to have to say A. I was going to say B because of limits outside of what she's good at, but where she's good at, she's great at.
True. I want to put it A, but I feel like my OCD wants me to put B because I know other things are better.
Okay, you know? Okay. I can settle with B. I can't wait.
If you look at these heroes, heroes are like ridiculous.
Oh, sweet Lord. Yeah, we got a list. We got a list to go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Jeera is the champion I'm looking the most forward to out of all the champions coming out. And it's a great list.
I love Myca. But yeah, I'm with you there, man.
She's a beast. Yeah.
I'm actually most excited for Helga, I think everyone is.
Yeah. Anybody that knows what a kid is knows that she's just going to be nice. Her damage is going to be great, and she's going to make Styx Boss a joke. So,
oh yeah, it's not even going to be a thing. You know, like everyone's hitting us after she comes out. Like it's not even funny. Though, not even funny. Ymiret referencing the animations.
Bro, these dragons are creepy out here in Tia. You gotta be careful out here in the streets.
I can't show the cinematic because I technically don't have access to it. But it's something else. That's for sure.
It's sus, bro. It's definitely it's definitely from a different genre. I'll say that. And you look at the dragon, you don't see that equipped on the dragon until she's involved. So interesting. But he saves her from north of the wall violence, and they fly away after an embrace, shall we say? Yeah. You got so I have not even gotten deep into his kit. I know he has awesome stuff. I haven't gotten it to him yet. So this is you taking the lead on this because I don't want to be the guy saying they're great if I have not touched them.
I do have to preface this by also saying I don't know that much about him. I just know how he works. I think he'll be pretty good, just to preface.
Yeah.
To kind of just read his kit, summarizing it pretty fast. He has the same thing that Ajax has, which is member increased damage, which already makes him pretty solid, because that is an insane ability.
Exactly.
He also has a bond skill with Anora, who we'll get to next.
You mean Arona? I'm kidding. Inside.
Oh yeah, for those of you guys watching, the Watcher Realms assets call her Arona, even though it's not her name. So it took me forever to find it. I had to like sift through, and I had to ask War Guides, and he knew, and it was cursed. It was bad. But yeah, so he buffs her. I don't know if he has a bond skill. You might have to check, like if he benefits from her.
So she definitely benefits from him, but I need to find out what he benefits from her. I can check it right now, actually. Let's see.
All right. So I'll read the kit in the meantime. So essentially the talent is when he's deployed, he unleashes this kind of like ability which inflicts slow on all enemies. Correct me if any of the information is wrong, by the way, because this is like kind of dated.
Let me read along. I was looking at the kit because he does get an interesting bond skill. It's a very interesting bond skill. It's nice. It's nice though. All right, let me see.
So the slow is affected within 2 tiles, similar to like Ajax and his debuff, where he puts like magic resistance reduction. And he also extends the effect of freeze. So good freeze synergy with both Anora, I think maybe Boreas it would be good for, stuff like that. And it extends it a certain amount. How much is it
Yeah.
extended by?
So it's like so it extends the duration of freeze on them by 50%, but it's a maximum extension of 1.5 seconds. So
Okay.
whatever they already have, it adds on to it. So it's kind of complicated. So it's one of those things you're probably going to know easier when you use it instead
Hmm.
of instead of like just like, hey, this works out. It's easy to just play with them. When you get
Interesting.
them, when you get the champion, it'll be easy to understand.
Okay.
And they gain hero. Not I say hero. The hero gains freeze immunity also. So that was the
Ooh.
difference between the it said crit damage increase. Now it's freeze immunity.
Freeze immunity.
So
Okay, good.
you know what that's actually good at now is going to be good against the Boreas boss.
Ooh, that's
Um,
true too. So
but
you can use
the
like
problem with it's weird because
DPS
there was already a
increases.
bug where Dolores could just be used.
Oh yeah, it
But
was designed against it, but you could still use her. It was
yeah, you
so
can still
funny.
use it. But if you
And
pop his
then,
ult, he causes freeze immunity for everybody on the team. So if you use his ult first,
ooh,
everybody else could do their stuff and get
oh,
their extra bonuses out.
that's
So
actually amazing. So if they fix
yeah,
Dolores, he'll be more meta there, which is great.
yeah.
And also, isn't he like the only character that has two different damage types?
So let me
Because
make sure. So he has the
because it
AOE.
says AOE damage up to 5 enemies on his basic. But then in his ultimate, he flies into the air. And he lowers his block to 0, is what it should
To
say.
zero.
Um, and his basic attack changes into Frost Breath, which does AoE magic damage, apparently.
So
Uh,
I'll read it off for you then, because you are you these this leak is actually good enough to say he's a great champion. So there's little tweaks, but this leak is perfect because it puts us in the right direction to know he's OP. 100% AoE damage to the target and 5 of the target surrounding enemies. So it's basically like a little bomb that he shoots out. The ultimate, where is it here? That's the bond skill. Ultimate's above it. When it activated, ascends to the air, expanding attack range and increasing block to 0, which is, like you said, terrible wording. But basic attack now turns into Frost Breath, dealing 100% AoE magic damage to the target and the surrounding enemies, hitting up to 8 enemies and inflicting 1 stack of Winter's Bite on them. And Winter's Bite is basically, in a sense, it's like Shamir's ability, where drowning water stacks and it continues to
mhm.
slow, but at max stack it inflicts freeze instead of
Interesting.
immobilize.
That's kind of
Um,
cool.
and and it lasts for 3 seconds, which is, if you don't realize, that's actually a lot.
Oh yeah,
That's
like
actually a lot.
Boreas does like 1 second now.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually a whole lot of time. Like 3 seconds in this game, it goes by fast at 2x, but when you continuously doing it,
Hmm.
especially with Anora, see, now I'm starting to get a little bit more into Anora now, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
We'll get to the
If
Anora next. Yeah.
yeah, allies within the talent range receive freeze immunity during the effect duration. So that's why I say pop its ult first. Then you can pop other ones without the fear of being frozen by Boreas. So that opens up some other mechanics that you can use in the
Hmm.
content. That's the ult. I can read more, but it's so much more. It's a lot. It's so much more.
Yeah, we don't got that time. I'm kidding,
I
but
know, bro,
yeah.
because we're cooking. We're cooking.
All right, so and then he has like some freeze and slow synergy with the rest of the stuff. I don't really want to read this
Mhm.
part. The viewers can if they want.
Yeah,
But there's just so
yeah.
much to go over. Ymiret's essentially a fighter, good with freeze, good synergy with his partner. And what did you already read the bond skill? Or
Yes, so the bond skill is funny. The bond skill, it increases the chance of adding extra worm bites by like 20%. So you get the frost even faster, which is nice. That is good.
Winter's Bite?
Um,
Uh-huh. Okay.
but when he dies for the first time, he turns into an egg.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I remember hearing about that.
yeah, he turns into a pal. So so as a pal, he inflicts 50% of his he inherits 50% of his max HP, and his block goes down to 1. So only one thing can stay on him, which is a good thing for him.
Yeah, because
Um,
you don't want the egg to die.
exactly. So if he's killed within 20 seconds, then he does 200% AoE damage to 10 enemies and dies. But if he's not killed within 20 seconds, well,
Then
he
he
also inflicts
revives.
freeze for a second, then he revives, and that's once during his deployment, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
Wait a
wow.
second. Inherent, if killed, deals. Wait a second. It does not say once during his deployment.
Oh,
He
that's
might
just
be able to do it
every
more
time
than
he
once.
dies?
It doesn't say once during deployment on here. I'm looking at it. I don't see it. Inflicts
Really?
50% of max HP.
Okay, so
Reduce
if he
deployment
could just
1.
infinitely revive if you can keep him alive, that's insanely good.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, 200. Yeah, and inflicts freeze for 1 second. If not killed within 20 seconds, the hero revives. It does not say once per kit.
Oh damn.
Oh my gosh. Okay, okay, all right.
Oh,
He's
that makes them better. That kind of reminds
yeah.
me of if you
That's a
ever
heck of a
played
bond
Clash
skill.
Royale. There was this one
Yeah,
character called the Phoenix or whatever, and
yeah.
the Phoenix could
If you don't
revive
kill her again,
infinitely and was so unbelievably broken it broke the game. It was like the best character of all time, at least before they did
just send tanks
evolutions.
with her and let her go.
That makes him seem so much better. Wow.
Oh my god. See, I actually knew he turned into an egg, but from my assumptions, it was once during deployment, but it does not say once during deployment. So
Interesting.
he could just die and he could just hold the line forever. Of course, his block goes down to 1, so there's one downside, and he's not doing damage when he's an egg. So that's the downside. I'm gonna have to put him at A. He's got to be at A.
I'm with you on that one. Definitely
He's
better
at
than
A.
Jeera, I would say. Lucius
Yeah,
is kind of
I can give you
unproven.
that.
That's why
Yeah,
he's kind of there. Uh,
yeah.
I
I
don't think
gotta,
he's
I
in a
gotta put him
level.
above. I gotta put him above Jira just because he's better for
He
more
does
content
more.
by far, way more. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good bond skill. Jesus,
Yeah. And another good bond skill is with Anora. So Anora
we,
is
we didn't even talk about the scale armor. There's just so much to go about him. A, we're gonna just stop at A. We'll stop at A. It's safe.
yeah.
We'll talk about Anora.
We're leaving him at A. We're going on to Anora. This is a little wrong in a couple ways. She should be
Mhm.
Esotericist, not Northern Throne. Her name is Anora, and this is her bond skill right here.
Yeah,
Which is
Fade.
where
Oh,
it
want me to
turns her
read it?
summon into
An ice
Ymiret.
labor.
Little,
Yeah, it's like a
little
little,
Ymiret.
little Ymiret,
Little
little
baby
Yimmy on the
Ymiret.
track, little Yimmy on the track. Um, so it's funny 'cause whenever you tap, you get a whole video of her walking, like doing stuff. Just to tell the difference in the labor ice to anybody that's watching the rest of this kit, you can get this idea. Um, it takes 100% of the match's attributes and assists in fighting, deals 15% increased damage to controlled enemies. Each attack deals 110% AoE damage to up to 8 enemies, with a 30% chance to inflict Winter's Bite for 3 seconds, which is that progressive slow that leads to a freeze.
Hmm.
So the faster you set that attack up, the more damage you get out of that, and the more CC you get out of it too. I will say now that I'm thinking about it, she is going to be great for Guild Boss 2. I will say that she
Yeah.
will be great because you need a lot of freeze to stop that chainsaw or a lot of stun, and she does have a lot of freeze. So
Yeah.
okay, interesting.
Her
Now I'm
and
thinking of content.
Ymiret might be very good there. For
Oh,
sure.
sweet
Like
Lord,
if you're
yes.
gonna
Oh
use
yeah,
them, you
yeah,
should
yeah,
use
yeah.
them together. This is like
Yeah.
one of the only cases of bond skills where it looks like you want them together because they actually synergize well. Like imagine both of
Yeah.
them putting that debuff on that leads to freeze, because they're the only
Yeah.
two that have it. So if you put them together, then that makes it happen more often.
Yeah, and they recently adjusted it too because when it first came out, it was just too easy to like beat the Shaw. So they made it to where you got to have the right champions now, not just my old Guild Boss team that happens to have that buff in it, a debuff in it. So you want to have champions that are specialized in doing that quickly. This is good. This is good. Yeah, her kit's good. I'll give her that. You can read the kit. I'll give my response at the end.
I think I'll just summarize this one because I talked about it
Okay.
extensively a while back. I think I was the first
Okay.
person to ever mention her.
Yes, of course you were.
Anyways, so she
I love
summons
it.
her summon on deployment, and the summon does a bunch of things. If you guys want to read it, on the
Mhm.
ultimate, the summon does a ton of damage to 10 enemies, so a lot of AOE, and then buffs them. Is the buff permanent, or how long does it last on the ultimate?
The buff for which attack are we talking about here? For
The
Noxious
ultimate.
or for the ultimate? Let's see here. Let's check it for you. Immediately deals 360% to the enemy range and increases labor's damage by 150% during the ultimate last 20 seconds.
Okay.
So it's just during the time.
Oh, so
frame of the
it's
ultimate.
not attack speed. It should say by 20 seconds or for 20 seconds.
It's just the duration of 20 seconds itself,
Okay.
which
So
would have been
that's
nice
pretty
attack speed,
solid.
but 20 attack speed would have been pretty insignificant.
Yeah, so it's better with that, I would say.
Yeah.
Though she's pretty good. I would say there's one flaw, which is not that bad because she's essentially 2 units in one, which is kind of crazy. But she can't
Yeah.
be buffed by Dolores or Inspiration or like any
It's got to
buffs.
be a bug. It
Nor
has
could
to
she be
I hope
debuffed.
it's a bug.
She also
Yeah.
can't be
I-
debuffed.
So the debuff part is interesting because it's not in the kit. So you wonder like this champion is so new in the coding Like, so I knew about her, and I knew she was coming, and I actually jumped onto the test server, and they were on my account, but they had no character model. So I asked the dev to put them in the game, and by the time they were in the game, I fell asleep and I woke up and there was like 3 videos already out on. I was like, oh, but
Yeah, late to the party.
that did me dirty, bro. I thought I was gonna get the first dibs. I was staying awake, red eye and all. But yeah.
Nah,
So her
bro.
kit is crazy. My issue with her kit is it feels like you have to do more of a job on timing to get the best out of it because Noxious Breath is really where a lot of her damage comes. So that's what she does. Her what is it actually? What does it do? Because I remember it deals decent damage, but 20% magic damage per second on up to 8 enemies in range, and it lasts for 6 seconds. But if you do her ultimate, it automatically triggers. So you want to have one
Hmm.
in, and then you send the next one, or double them down and do extra damage too. So
Yeah,
that's
which is
another
great.
benefit. But it's like it's the timing of it. It's a little challenging. It's the timing.
Yeah, she also buffs other summons, which is great as well.
Yes. So that's going to be Cyrus. That's going to be her
Navras,
summon. That Navras. That's the one I was thinking about. Also, there's one more I was thinking
because he's
about.
getting changed.
Yeah.
Cade is pretty decent in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
Kriya
Kate as
sucks.
well. Yeah, we're not content. We're not considering that
Wailing
one.
Skulls, I
Uh,
don't know if those count.
Wayland's that would be interesting.
If it
That's a
buffs
good
a
one.
Wailing Skull, you're gonna see her be used in Guild Boss purely to buff Zilla 2.
Exactly. Or
Because hers is
we don't
bugged
know.
to do more damage. Zilla 2 is bugged, right? So she does more
Yeah.
damage with the Wailing Skull than she should.
I would wonder though. So I do wonder if the ancient cores would cost them also.
Yeah,
Considering
I
because
think it
that would be
would.
nice. Yeah, because he says it is he assigns ancient cores, but I mean he basically makes them. So I don't
And
know if
they're
they're using the
also
term
the
assign
same
instead of summons.
faction. So maybe
Yeah.
Esotericist Guild Boss? Question mark.
Okay, she's I mean I was about to use another dad joke. She's warmed up to me. Uh, God, I got him already. Um, okay, rating her. I'm
I
gonna
want to
have
put
to
her
still.
A.
I gotta say A. I think A behind Ymiret.
I think she's
Yeah.
above Ymiret.
You think she's above?
I think she's above because of how she buffs other people, and she's more
That's a
usable
good point.
because she's just a platform unit.
Okay,
I
I can
value
give you
platform
that.
units more because they're
I
usable
may
in more
I may be too
areas.
addicted to Power World. That's what it is. So I was thinking
I
Ymiret's gonna get up there.
I think they deserve to be together. That's
Yeah.
clearly what they're designed to be for.
They certainly have started a relationship early on.
I mean, she fell
Okay.
from heaven to stay with him and have fun times. So
Is that? And did she land on his lake? And that's what she's laying there. She landed her with her butt wings.
the people watching who haven't seen the animation are probably so confused.
They probably like, what are we talking about? Trust me, just look it up. It's out. It exists. It's hilarious. It's a lot. It's gonna be on your social media soon as an ad. You'll see it.
Oh no. Let's just move on to Dahlia before I get banned.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That makes it easier. Move to Dahlia.
Yeah, let's. So Dahlia, I don't really have anything set up for like skill wise. I think
Mhm.
most people know how Dahlia works. It's been almost 2 months since she was shown,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. We
crazy.
wanted her for so long. She's great. She's an
She's-
insanely good
she's-
damage dealer, and her kit is misunderstood. She's awesome.
She's the most underestimated character here.
Yes. Yes. I'm
Uh,
gonna
I-
say now, just in advance, so you know it. I'm gonna put her at the end of A tier. I'm gonna put her there.
Yeah.
That's my thought on her because she is awesome. Other ones do a really good job. No, you know what? No. She got to be a. I have to put.
I don't think she's S at all, but I
No,
think
not
she's.
S. Not S. No. She might be. She might be behind Init. I'm thinking that. If you want to do a
I
quick draft
think
for her, what do you
maybe.
think?
I think Init has more potential, but
Not me
she's like
behind
more.
Init, not in the front. Well, go ahead.
I
choice,
want to
your
put her
choice.
in front just because she's mommy.
Okay. That's the part of the kit you like. I get it.
So essentially, she has the weirdest range ever. But
Yes.
if you just think creatively, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And
It's one of the
her
best
kit's very
ranges.
good, right? You were telling
Yeah.
me some areas where she was very strong.
Well, also think of this too. Like one thing people are thinking is like, oh, it's a single thing for 6 tiles. No, it's not. those bushes that she has, they explode and they do AoE damage on the tiles around it. So think of
Yeah.
it as a mage that has a 6 tile reach. The
Hmm.
regular attacks go single, but the ults, when those bushes explode, they do damage in the surrounding area. So she
And
still could be good in Gil v Gil because she also increases the blocks of defenders
yep.
that are near the bushes. So
And she also buffs with DPS stuff. She
yes,
also does slow. She does poison. She's the best poison in the game because
yes,
her
she
attack
does.
is the highest out of any poisoner because of how poison works now. She
Yeah,
does.
she's a
She
great
just.
champion.
She's so
We
much
haven't
better
even
than people
talked
think.
about we haven't even talked about like just putting her with a Lord bonus. Like, good Lord, she's gonna be
Oh yeah,
crazy.
the AOE bonus. Because the Lord bonus for
Yeah.
cultists is just better than
Yes.
most Lord bonuses.
It's a straight flat out 30%, or if you got Demi, you work your way up to it and get a little bit higher.
I have Morrigan, so I'm gonna be getting 60%.
Sweet Lord. That's stupid, bro.
Yeah,
That's
I'm going for
crazy.
both of them, I think. Is what
Yeah.
I've decided.
I
They're
agree.
both
I
really
wouldn't even
good.
knock you. I wouldn't even knock you. I
Like
understand it.
these four can be interchangeable depending on how it turns out with content because obviously they're still
Mm-hmm.
new. Like this stuff is
Mm-hmm.
not 100% definitive, but I think I mean I think Dahlia will be very good for sure.
And the craziest thing is, a bunch of them are free. Like,
Oh yeah,
you're just gonna get them.
Myca's free, Helga's free, who else is
And it's
free?
free.
Init's free. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Dahlia and Anora are limited, so you're guaranteed to get them if you pull a certain amount. It's
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah, it
Speaking of
is.
free,
It is.
actually, before we move on, I just have to say,
Ooh.
Dahlia, you said would be good in Guild Boss 2, you said?
Yes. She's going to be good in Guild Boss 2 for two reasons. One, she has a ton of poison, which helps you just do more damage. And two, you could put her on the left or the right lane, just facing inward, and all of her bushes, all of her attacks hit the same boss. So it's not where, oh, it's a lane, only one of them are going to hit, only her basic hits. Everything that she does that does damage to the boss from
Which is a
every
lot.
tile. Yeah, it is a lot. It ends up becoming a lot of damage. So
Hmm.
I would say she would be a great second roster champion to include because you're gonna
Yeah.
already have your best ones out there. But on the second one, when you just need good damage, pop her
Hmm.
ult at the right time. It's gonna be nice. It'll be
And she's
nice. Yeah.
also one of the best Geared 1 units. She's going to be good in Geared
Mm-hmm.
4.
She can solo gear at
Uh,
one.
not
Yep.
Geared 5, but she'll be good in a
Yeah.
lot of areas. Anywhere AoE
Yeah.
content, especially if you don't have Comet, I would just pull for her. Like,
Yeah.
if you
Another
have
thing that's really
Comet and like a couple other AoE mages, then maybe you don't need to, but she's still going to be cool.
yeah. And it's
So,
just the niche of it, just the idea of being able to hit that range. Another thing that's really
hmm
crazy, this is kind of irrelevant for people that play, but Tide is a BP battle. But when
yeah.
she's on Tide, her left and right range goes crazy. So she puts like 10 bushes down.
Jeez. Oh yeah, because she has
So
like
if it weren't,
she has buffed
yeah,
range or whatever.
exactly. If it were actually mattering instead of BP, if it was an actual battle, she'd be one of the best champions to put down there.
Yeah, that's true. Though I think we should move on to Helga, and I think I
Yes.
can just start by
Yes.
placing her. I think
Yes.
she's ass.
Of course. Not even an argument.
I
Of
think she
course.
might be the best free character in the game.
Yeah. She's one of the best freebies. She's going to trivialize so much content.
It's
She's great because she's a good assist champion because
mm-hmm.
she does better around other champions and she basically holds the line stronger.
Yeah.
It's a whole list of why she's awesome. She's crazy.
Like she
Crazy.
takes crit damage from anyone in front of her. She does a ton of attacks. She hits air. She has a very long range for a fighter. She does very strong damage. Her exclusive is already one of the best exclusives in the game. Essentially what it does, I don't want to edit and show it on the screen because I'm
I can
lazy.
say it
But
if I have it. I actually don't have it. I can find it. I can try to say it for you.
basically, it
Right.
buffs her attack from like 10% to 16%, depending on its level. And then every time her ult ends, she gains 10% rage, which is really good. Like, she's
Yeah, it's
ulting a
just
ton.
awesome. It's just a kick, and she has ult in the time. Her damage is actually pretty good as far as how quickly she can do it. So if it's smaller units, they're gone. If it's large units, she can work them down. But that
Yep.
freaking Styx boss is going to be a
Oh, yeah.
joke. I
She's
was
going to be
talking
the
to
best
Sebastian
Styx
and Shane.
boss unit. She's
Yeah,
pure
easily.
esotericist, But still, even with that restriction for guild boss, she can still with decent gear do like 80 to 100 mil. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
if you put her behind like a Zilla 2 or something.
But think of also the fact that since she's esoteric, the 1,000 cost of her ult's gonna be 750 now, so she's gonna
Oh
get it
yeah,
even more often.
with the Lego Lord, yeah, you were right.
Yeah, she's about to have a glorious.
And then she's
I
also
cannot
getting
wait to get
10%
her.
range on top of that. Maybe she could be decent in Gilby Guild. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
If you're
it's
using
but
Cyrus, maybe you
if
could
you're
use
using
her.
Cyrus, it could be interesting. It could be very
Yeah,
interesting.
someone will have to test that. There's a lot of really good esoterists coming out, that's for sure. We've got 1, 2, 3 right here. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Hook them up. I do hope more watchers show up. It wasn't many this time, but we're
Yeah,
good
only
with
one. It's crazy that the 2 free ones are like the best.
that. Yeah. See, this is what you like about a game like this. It's funny because they're the best, but they're wonderful mostly for PvE content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like about it because it doesn't just make the game, oh, if you have the champion, you dominate the PvP. It's like you can, but the free ones they're giving away are going to help you progress in the game and enjoy most of the content you're playing.
Yep,
Outside of the
exactly.
competitive stuff. It's great. Oh, here she goes.
Hot take, I want to put her C.
Oh no. No way. No way you gonna put her at C, bro.
We had to end it with
Yo.
something controversial, Mike. We had to argue about something. We can't just agree.
Okay. Okay, that is the hottest of hot take. That's the Stephen A. Smith infernal take right
Look,
there.
she's good,
She's crazy.
but
Okay,
no.
I gotta defend my case.
Okay, you go.
Okay, so her initial attack is like the OG vocal, which is 2 tiles ahead, but her ult is her tile, then ahead of her are 3 tiles, ahead of that is 3 tiles. She is perfect for gear rate 1. If you get her and you're progressing in the content, congratulations, you will beat gear rate 1. I can solo gear rate 121 with her. I think I use Hollow and Constants are in there too. She can solo gear rate 121. I might have a Lord bonus. I'll double check. But I can solo gear rate 121 with her. She's also great for gear dungeon too because in her ult or her talent, both of them actually, she gets knocked back in her abilities for 12 seconds. If she has any allies in front that die, aka a Cerberus, aka a Aatrox, aka a freaking minion from Cyrus, and you know how many he puts out, she gains a 70% crit damage for 12 seconds, which means there's no cooldown. It always stays up. If you keep a Cyrus in front or somebody like that, it's always up. Then, do I need to tap the screen? Okay, I'll add the last piece to it. Her and every ally that's in her range gain penetration increase, 50% magic, and defense drop. And they also all get a 20% damage increase that are inside of her range as well. And if you don't think that that is enough, I haven't even talked about her awakens because I have not awakened her. But her ultimate does 160% damage per hit. Every hit is 3 hits, and it lasts for 30 seconds at a cost of 900 as a cultist. The only downside I'm going to give her kit is she doesn't have any slow or stun in her kit, because in that way she can't auto proc that Lord bonus to get that extra damage. I know knockback counts as a CC, but I don't know if it counts as one of the CCs that you get a bonus for.
It's possible it's just like quick CC and then it like the window ends.
Yeah.
what
Which
I'm
would be a
thinking.
downside in my case. You said C, bro. I'm using it to the
Okay,
fullest.
I
Wait,
mostly
okay.
did it to spark a conversation. I don't actually think she's bad. It's just, you know,
If they want to know how much I like this champion, before this video, we got Helga and she doesn't have electricity in the PNG. I went in Photoshop and added electricity to put respect on her name.
honestly, I think she's probably better than Jeera
I could say that. I could see that.
because she's
I
more
can agree with
versatile.
that.
She's gonna be decent
Yeah.
in Grade 5. I don't think her single target damage is enough to justify her
But
for
that's
like
what's
stage
crazy
5.
though. She does a great job in single target. Because you think
True.
about it, every 2 attacks she does during her ult is equal to a Lasir ult.
Mhm.
So that's a lot of damage. And she does a good bit on the single target. But I can understand the argument. There's still that bar of damage you got to get over. And she's better
Yeah.
against smaller units.
The
but
thing is,
she
you
can
need like
solo it.
high concentrated. Like Zilla 2 can barely cut it.
Yeah.
Zilla
Well, just to mention, right now I have her at 78k HP at A0, and she's doing those numbers. She does have Frigid Flame because she's behind the wall or behind a defender most of the time,
Yeah.
but at A0 she's able to solo, and it's crazy. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I can go with B. It's a high B. I can definitely put top of the list to B.
I kind of also want to put
Lucius is
Jeera
still
below
awesome.
Lucius,
No, you do
but I
not.
don't
No,
know.
sir. Bro,
Lucius
I'm
is
telling you,
good. It feels wrong
if you
having
can
him
make
the
Valeria,
weakest.
if you can make Valeria not die and do more damage, you have Jeera. So you got to
True.
put Jeera in whatever the conversation Valeria is in. That's what makes it crazy to think now.
Yeah. I don't know. When I'm looking at this list, I feel like there's only like obviously Myca's the best, I would say,
Yes,
from what
there's
we're
no
seeing.
argument for her.
But apart from
Yeah.
that, these all feel so close.
Yes, yes. It's like you could go either way and be fine because they're great champions. There's no champions that we saw and it was like, oh, this champion's terrible.
Mhm.
You know the famous phrase is this is diluting the summon pool. No, no, no. All of these are really good ones to get.
Yeah, like Lucius, best marksman. I mean, best watcher DPS in the game.
Yeah,
Easily.
and they need it.
They desperately need it. Jeera, great like tanky bruiser, melee unit, just kind of limited by the range and the fact that you
Yeah.
can't hit air. In terms of these tier
That's
lists,
true,
I do
yeah.
rank like versatility fairly high. I know not everyone agrees with that, but that's whatever.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Magda,
Oh, so
very
I
usable.
will say this. Okay, I can understand B tier because I don't believe Magda hits aerial units. I don't. Well, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't
Yeah,
tried it yet. So that would be a
that's
limit.
fair.
Zilla 2 can hit aerial units, and that is necessary for a fighter, especially with that kind of range. You would want him to.
Yeah, like the reason why Helga's so high as a fighter is because she has that long range, she hits air,
Yeah.
she's usable everywhere. I've seen her be used
Yeah.
beautifully in Ymiret 3, very, very well, and like she's just great.
That's
She's
fire.
amazing.
That's
I,
fire. This is a tough list here, bro, because there's so
this is
many
brutal.
but we honestly couldn't stack the A pool like that. We had to put somebody in some definitive levels. That's the
Yeah,
best
you
we
gotta
could do is, like,
sacrifice
4.
someone, you know?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta do it.
Yeah, it's crazy because we were thinking it was gonna be 6. And it's like, but there's 3 other champions to talk about: Dahlia and Helga and Init, because we know of them. We just kind of forgot about them.
Oh,
Helga's been on the
Magda.
Forerunner server for over a year, I think, right?
Magda's been out
around.
for like forever.
Yeah, Magda. That's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. She's been out for a hot minute. But if you're not
She's
on
been
Forerunner, you don't talk
she's
about
been meta in AoE arena over there for so long.
her.
Hopefully she's not bugged anymore because she used to be bugged where she would actually not knock back people behind her into the crystal or something, and then they would get stuck.
That's trash.
I hope they patched her. They must have.
Oh, speaking of crystal bugs in arena, bro, you remember the one with Valk? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even gonna talk more beyond that.
Yeah,
I've heard of one with Valk, and that's very intriguing.
yeah. So this is the tier list. Obviously, if you guys don't agree, comment down below what you would change. Obviously, they're all very close together. And yeah, I think that's the tier list. Big
Yeah.
thanks to Mike. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I do appreciate it a
Bro.
ton. This is gonna be like the longest video I've ever posted, and yet I think it was still all worthwhile conversation material. So I don't
Bro,
think
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
be in
edit
the comment
it at
section
all.
arguing with your commenters. Just let them know now. I'm calling it.
If you
Bro,
guys
yo, that
disagree
shit
with a
is
take, blame Mike, not me this time.
Blame Mike.
He's the real Valderon hater.
What? Wait, Valderon is basically a Dorito. That's all he is, a Dorito with a sword. So it's okay. The flaming hot Dorito with the sword.
Yeah. Did you see the Yobara animation where he fights Valderon and blows him up?
You mean where he obliterates Valderon? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, Valderon's
Valderon,
on
the
the
chaotic
ground with one-
lord, can't be losing to a Piercer Lord, okay? Even though...
Yes, he can. He has an attack range of 1 notch. Yes, he can. and Eovar is on a platform to start.
That's true. But yeah, everyone go sub
It's
to
embarrassing,
Mike.
bro.
He's a great guy, has some amazing content. I've heard from people that they say that your content is too good for the game, so maybe that's a selling point.
I like that. Shoot, I'll take it. But you know what though? I enjoy conversating with people. I love doing collabs, comment section, all of that. I just like the community of the game because it's mostly positive, and I've come from a gotcha game where I see what it's like when it becomes not so fun, not so enjoyable. I love that people are asking questions, they're getting into content. The only thing people have a challenge with is whether you're going to pull that champion. It's tough. It's still a gotcha game. That's the life of the gotcha game. And you
Hmm.
can't save arena in any gotcha game. But I like this community and collabs like this because, bro, you stay telling us stuff that we need to know, and I'm just happy.
Yeah.
Anytime I see that link, I'm like, hey, pull the car over. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, you watch it on your phone while driving. Sure, you might run over a couple people, but my
Look, I'm
videos are
trying to
more
get
important. Kidding.
20% risk rate now just went up. At that point, when the video is playing, everybody becomes Mario coins, and you get bloop bloop 2 points. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, y'all. Don't y'all dare
Confirmed. Mike runs.
confirm Mike speed runs when Destined videos plays.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, man. Everyone go sub to Mike. Is there anything you'd like to say before we go? Or
Make sure you guys subscribe to Destin 2. It's one of the best ways you can find out what's the newest stuff coming to Realms, to watch a Realms. So if you want to know, that's where you want to start. And I'll eventually get videos out too. I just do a lot more editing. So y'all have an awesome evening today.
yeah, so that's about it from us. There's the tier list. There's me and Mortar Mike and Destined and Mortar Mike signing out.
Deuce.